If you study World War II long enough, one truth becomes unavoidable. Cold killed quietly and constantly. Long before bullets or bombs, exposure drained strength, slowed thinking, and ended lives. Families, soldiers and resistance fighters survived winters with almost no fuel, no electricity and constant shortages. What they developed was not comfort heating, but survival heating. These methods were built around efficiency, discipline, and an understanding of how the human body actually loses heat. This guide is not nostalgia. It is a field-tested playbook, and if you are serious about preparedness, these lessons still matter today. Body heat was amplified through discipline and layering. World War II heating did not start with fire. It started with clothing. People wore full winter layers indoors at all times. Wool was king because it retained warmth even when damp. Multiple thin layers trapped air better than one heavy coat. Well, a common civilian approach was, 3 upper layers, 2 lower layers, and insulated foot coverings at all times indoors. Sleeping arrangements, they really did follow strict logic. Families slept close together to share body heat. 2 adults can actually raise the microclimate temperature under blankets by as much as 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit compared to sleeping alone. Blankets were layered in a specific order. Dense wool on the bottom, softer material in the middle, and another wool layer on top to reduce convection. If you're looking to recreate this, aim for at least 3 layers, with the heaviest on the outside. Even without any active heat, this setup can keep survivable temperatures down to near-freezing indoor conditions. Improvised stoves were engineered for efficiency, not for flame. In bombed cities and rural areas alike, folks built small stoves from bricks, clay, metal drums, or salvaged steel. The goal wasn't a roaring fire, but rather slow, controlled heat. A common design used a vertical burn chamber with limited airflow, allowing wood to smoulder instead of burn fast. This extended burn time and reduced fuel use dramatically. One documented method used a metal container with a single air intake the size of 2 fingers. A handful of dry wood chips could produce usable heat for an hour. The ratio was roughly 1 kilogram of wood per 3 to 4 hours of low heat. That same wood in an open fire would be gone in 30 minutes. If you attempt this today, ventilation is critical. These stoves were always used near chimneys, cracked windows, or flues. Carbon monoxide was a known killer even then, and survivors respected it. Thermal mass was used to store heat when fuel was available. People learned quickly that heating air alone was wasteful. Stone, brick and water stored heat far longer. During the day, stoves were run just long enough to warm walls, floors, or large containers of water. At night, the fire went out, but the heat remained. A common civilian tactic back then was heating up bricks or stones, wrapping them in cloth, and then placing them under beds or near your feet. And, a single heated brick weighing around 5 kilograms could actually radiate warmth for 6 to 8 hours. Water containers were even more effective, believe it or not. 10 litres of hot water stored enough heat to noticeably warm a small room overnight. If you want to apply this sort of thing today, the idea is to heat dense materials during peak fuel availability and then just let them work their magic while you sleep. Kitchens in those days doubled as heating hubs for survival reasons. Cooking and heating were merged whenever possible, you see. Soup, stews and bread ovens were all timed to coincide with the coldest parts of the day. The heat produced during cooking wasn't wasted, it was captured. Pots stayed on stoves longer, and oven doors were opened after baking to release that stored heat right into the room. A practical example still works today, you know. If you run a stove for 1 hour to cook a meal, just keep the room sealed and allow the residual heat to spread. That single hour can actually raise a small room's temperature by 5 to 10 degrees, reducing the need for additional fuel later on. Soldiers relied on micro-heating, not shelters. On the front lines, heating buildings was often impossible, really. So, soldiers used microheating methods focused on hands, feet and core temperature. Heated stones wrapped in cloth were carried in packs. Chemical hand warmers were improvised using lime, water and metal containers. Even small temperature increases prevented frostbite and preserved dexterity. One method involved heating sand or dirt in a container, sealing it and placing it near the abdomen or feet. A half-litre container of heated material could provide localized warmth for several hours. This principle still applies in modern survival situations where full shelter heating is, well, unrealistic. Scarcity forced discipline, and discipline created survivability. World War II heating was not about comfort, you know. It was about routine. Fires were lit at specific times, fuel was measured, doors stayed shut, clothing stayed on. Those who survived winter after winter followed systems, not instincts. If you take one lesson from this guide, let it be this. Heat is something you manage, not something you consume freely. Concentrate it, store it, share it, and never waste it. Final words for serious survivalists. These World War II heating tricks were forged under pressure, hunger, and constant danger. They worked because they respected physics, human biology, and scarcity. Study them, practice them, and adapt them now, not when the power is gone and the temperature drops. This is the kind of knowledge we preserve here on the Final Siren. If this guide helped sharpen your preparedness mindset, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone who takes survival seriously, and stay ready. Cold does not announce itself. It just takes what you fail to protect.